Alright, people. So I've watched a whole lot of stuff on the news over the last day or two. You're hearing the tragedies and trials and what have you. And I want to discuss something that's kind of near and dear, you know, because I've spoke about racism in my last few videos. And so this will probably be my final racist video. I have learned in life that there's probably no way in hell I can stand up by myself and smack the world in the face to get rid of racism and sexism and all the other isms that are in the way. Alright. So my whole point of trying to make movies, besides to make movies to make happy movies and teach kung fu for free, which was my ultimate goal, which clearly is probably never going to happen now. So I'm going to start by saying that was my primetime goal, to make movies, teach people kung fu for free, and hopefully have a happily ever after. I have learned since then that happily ever after doesn't come for everyone, and literally, sometimes the good guys finish last if we live long enough to finish it all. So finally, I'm gonna get on this last racist video, and this is it. You know, this is the last racist video because there's so much that I need to discuss about it that just isn't done. You know, it comes down to racism in general. You know, we are all cursed and ashamed of the actions of the past. So learn from them and move on and try to be good to everyone, you know, regardless of religious or political views. Because those seem to be the two things that really tear the world apart. And it's a damn shame that we can't just all try to find a better way, an easier way, a way that, can get us all on the same page. I've also learned that, you know, some of us who do try, maybe I'm trying too hard, or maybe I'm not trying hard enough. And I can't change people's opinion with these. But I hope that I could entertain people enough with them that they can see with the movies I'm making, the things that are said in the movies are the things that people should say, need to say, but are afraid to say. Alright, I'm going to be honest, as I always am. I can respect an out front racist who is a racist, like 100% racist, but they're honest with me about it, you know. And in a professional manner, in a professional light, if you're going to be in the entertainment business, being a racist is probably not a good idea, you know, to all of those who are in the business and me who can get arrested breaking into the business. If you're going to be on any level of racism, you have to be willing to take one in the face, you know, like boom, like literally in the face, because you don't know how someone's going to react. And some people who aren't racist will probably punch you as well because you know you're living in a world where all of us have this thing called a heart and a brain. Sometimes they don't always coexist together. You know, sometimes they're like two ships crashing in the night and they can't connect. As people, you know, you would think that here in 2015, about to be 2016, a new millennium is like not too far around the corner. You would think that people would stop condemning people for falling in love with people who aren't of the same ethnic background. People like me who are probably going to have to order a mail order bride from Korea. It looks like that's like my final option. And, you know, I find that people who haven't ever dated out of their race have also missed out. You know, not saying you have to date them, marry them, whatever. But, you know, at least learn some cultural diversities and you'll see how much the diversity actually is a cultural similarity. Alright, like many people who bump into Asian people, and this isn't supposed to be racist, but it's probably going to come off as racist, so let me get that out there right now. Most people can't tell anybody from Vietnam and China apart. Okay, cool. That's understandable. Sometimes they can't tell themselves apart too. And yeah, sometimes they do ask. I've seen it. Hell, I've done it. Hell, when I was a kid and I was not really familiar with Vietnam, and rice cakes was like the racial stereotype of all Asians when I was in school. And that was before I found out I was Native American, because corn was the racial stereotype for all Native Americans. Chinese guys and them eat rice cakes, and Native Americans, we ate corn. Lots and lots of corn. Or to be politically correct, maize. So, when you look at these diverse cultures, you'll be shocked to find out that my little racist incident where I was the aggressor because I had a like a really bad lack of knowledge. The Vietnamese kid told me they don't even like rice cakes. Yeah, and I was like, okay. And I have been that guy. I have been that guilty son of a bitch that has told someone to go back into the country in which they came from. So, like I said in my other videos, I'm not a saint. I'm also not a racist. But as a kid, you don't know anything about racism until you're taught it. Now, I picked up racism from kids in school because I was a victim of racism. My parents never taught me how to be racist. No. And being that I'm multicultural, I don't have the right to be racist. Right? Because I'm part Native American, who have been shunned and crumbed down by the white man, possibly by Asian men, possibly by black men. I'm also part black, who have definitely been shunned down by white men, possibly Native American men, possibly Asian men. Now, I'm also part white, which has done most of the shunning. And in a ditch effort to wash sins of our family and our ancestors off, everybody tries to do something differently. Sometimes that shit doesn't work. But the thing is, like I said in my other videos, you can't help what family you're born into, but you can help who you become as a productive citizen in America. So I'm pushing for everybody to not be racist. I ain't saying you gotta integrate or indoctrinate yourself into another race and try to be something that you're not. Not gonna happen. I'm multicultural. I feel more Native American than black and white, and that's just my feelings. Am I that? Probably not. But I am 100% mutt, and I'm okay with it. I'm not the most handsomest man on the planet. So if you look at this and you're saying, God, he's one ugly motherfucker, hey, you're probably right. But I was far worse when I actually burnt like all of this off. See, my arm has some scars there. The camera's probably not going to show it very well. And some scars right there. Well, my face looked twice as bad. So, you know, this is me. Ugly or not, take it or leave it. I've had to accept it. I've had to live with this face for 42 years, minus the scars that went all through here. And I'll probably put it. I'm gonna put those videos up too, and you'll understand why. Now, I might be ugly, but I'm not scarred the fuck up, except for my arm. Back when this happened in my 30s, the doctors really didn't give me much options because health insurance was okay, but it wasn't like magnificent, and I don't have any. And the insurance was like, well, I had to pay the hospital bill like 4 times, and freaking the doctor when I was there for the first degree burns. Cause I'm a fairly tough dude. I wasn't even gonna go to the hospital until I got back to Charlottesville. But this happened down in Smithville, and my aunt took me to Suffolk Hospital. So it was like, yeah, first degree burns, and the doctor's like, we have some decisions that you need to make. And I have never ever once thought that I was a good looking person. Ever. I always thought I was ugly. Until I burnt off my face. Then I was truly ugly. And when the doctor gave me this option, he's like, okay, you can put this stuff on your arm and heal your arm scars, and you have like the prettiest arms on the planet. Or I can only give you enough for either your arms or your face. And we can do skin grafting and peel skin off your ass and put it on your face. So to show you how much of a dumbass I was thinking, ew, that's gonna stink. Even though I wash my ass, I was just like somewhere else in my brain thinking that if they put my ass skin on my face, isn't that gonna smell bad? I mean, even though I wash, shit has to touch the back of your ass somewhere. So I was like, no, 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 just fix my face, man. So when you think about that, yeah, that was pretty stupid. But I mean, my mom's been a nurse for all of my life, or most of my life, and I'm thinking at the time, they're gonna put skin off my ass on my face. Fuck that. So he gave me the white cream, and I had to slap it on my face for like about a month, and it healed me up pretty good. I don't think you can really tell that it's been fucked up, but my whole left side, like under my eye, and all of this down to my neck, was first degree burnt. And when you peeled it off, it was cool, but it wasn't cool. So basically, I got burnt down to the white meat, and I've since learned to accept what God has given me, facial wise. So yeah, I'm probably ugly to everyone. I don't care, because I was worse looking a few years ago. Like I said, I'm gonna put this video. So I'm gonna put everything I have up, hopefully between now and Christmas. If I'm lucky, everything I have should be up on my YouTube page before February or March. I want to have a clean slate by March because my dad died in March, and I want to be able to get my shit together and actually mourn him. And I didn't get the chance to do that because of everything that's been going on lately. I've been kind of stressed, busy, and bummed out all at the same time. But I haven't sat down and mourned my father. So in my next video, I'm going to talk about my father. I just wanted to end the racial thing on a positive note and tell everybody that you are who you are. And only you can really change you. I can't change your views. I'm not going to try because that's a whole lifetime of pulling out hair. It's also a whole lifetime of how can I convince you to not hate someone because of the color of their skin or the fact they're an asshole. Okay, well, first, let me admit my flaws. I have been a racist, and I wasn't like taught it, but I was taught it through my peers in school because I was a victim of racism. So, in that, I will explain that in this, however much time I let this go on. So, as a kid, you know, my mom was extremely light. She could pass for white people, and a couple of months back, after my dad passed, we went to Scottsville, and she blended in. And I nicknamed her the white lady, the old white lady. And wherever we go, if I'm somewhere looking for her, I call her old white lady. And premium blend, because she literally can go into a crowd of white people, and you will never find her. All right. Now, got that out of my system. When I was a kid, I didn't want my mom to come to school because kids are cruel, and you don't have any time from first grade to the fourth grade. I had to hear, James, you have a white mom. Come from black kids who seen my mom, grew up in the projects. They know my mom's not white, but it would circulate to like the kids who were well off than we were. They didn't live in the projects. They were also black, and they came from parents with better standards. Well, I came from a divorce home, and by no means necessary is this a reflection badly on my mom, because my mom bust her ass to put food in our guts and clothes on our backs. My dad did the same, he just wasn't in the same city. Because when you love someone and you can't be with them, the only thing you can really do is stay as far away from them as possible. And that's a whole nother story that we're not going to get into. But, try as they might, we made it somewhat better as life's gone on. It's gotten a little bit better. The racial thing, not so much. But as for everything else, things start getting better. But every class from the fifth grade, it went from being you're a nigger to chief, which is just as bad for me because I hated being called chief. It's like my Native American ancestors were all female. So, I could have dealt with being called scout, maybe even brave, but chief was kind of insulting. And so when I worked at the bowling alley, as I said before, this guy kept calling me fucking chief. It pissed me off. I hate being called chief. And if I'm looking away, it's because my reflection's over there, and another TV show is over there. So it's not that I'm trying to like lie or I have a tell. I tend to look up to the sky a lot. Most of the time, it's not that I'm lying; it's just that I'm trying to word my truth exactly so that people understand it. Okay, okay, good. Well, anyway, so by the time I got out of high school, I've always wondered why. It's like I'm not black enough for black people. I will never be white. And until that incident with the Native American guy who insulted me, I was never gonna be Native American enough, I guess. And I've learned to live with all of my cultures as best I can. But the thing is, in America, we do have freedom of speech. And a lot of us don't really have filters. I'm one of those people, I don't have a filter. I swear all the time. When this thing opens up, I can almost guarantee you there's a cuss word coming somewhere at some time. I try not to do it when I'm going for a job interview. I try not to do it when I'm in public as much. Although I do it a whole lot when I'm in public. And then I found out, well, you probably can get arrested for that. It's like, oh, I need to tone it down. So, all right, moving on. To end this whole racist fiasco, you know, it's it's a way about going about things. And as offensive as this may sound, it's hard to not offend people. And especially when you look at someone and you have no fucking idea what their ethnic background is. I had to accept that people don't really know what I am. And then I have to explain it to them. Like, I'm multicultural. Or you can call me a mutt. Don't call me half-breed. Don't call me nigger. And don't call me chief. Those are the only three words that really kind of sting me a little bit. I'm not going to say they burn me up, but they do sting a little bit every time because I've had to deal with it since I was a kid, you know. And then when it comes to like getting jobs and people want to put you in the other category, and I'm like, but I have to put black so that you don't have a legal reason to fire me for lying on my application. And they're like, well, I've been through all this before on other videos, so y'all can figure that shit out. But to put a stop to racism, we all got to take a step back. You know, we have to learn history. We have to learn what led to racism in the first place. We have to learn how we can control ourselves better and think before we speak. Okay? So, if I was forced into a bad racism situation as a kid and can learn from it that I'm not supposed to do that, if the shoes would have been reversed in the rice kid incident or the rice cake incident, where it came out where he was like, well, you're Native American. Why don't you go to a cornfield and eat corn? I probably would have hit him in the mouth. Or I probably would have tried to go find a bow and arrow and put one through his chest. But the problem with that is, that doesn't fix the situation. That only makes things worse. Because now, he's a racist and I'm a murderer. What have we accomplished? We have accomplished nothing. So again, we all have to try and find that silver lining to end. That peanut butter and jelly sandwich looks good. Sorry. We all have to find that silver lining to put I wouldn't say an end, but at least a pop cap. Screw it on there and try to assess what makes us better than the racism. We have to find a way to rise above it. I so do my damnedest to not use the word nigger or nigga or whatever, because I was born in the '70s, man, and still it stings when I hear it, because I'm like, too many people who claim to be pro-black and supported Malcolm X, supported Dr. King, and yet you still have these young kids that claim they stand for the same thing, but yet they still call themselves the word that salutes ignorance. I've seen at least 4 or 5 black people. What's up, my nigga? They're like, yo, my damn name is James. It's not no nigga. No, ain't no nigga, ain't no nigger. So, Public Enemy had a song called Yo Nigger once. And it made perfect sense. You should probably Google it, listen to Flavor Flav's song about, I don't care how small or bigger, I don't want to be called Yo Nigger. Okay. See, I listened to that stuff when I was really into rap music. I still listen to anything old school Public Enemy. And slightly NWA. I'm more Public Enemy than NWA. Because most of the things the Public Enemy said taught me more valuable lessons than NWA. No offense to NWA fans, because it ain't no fun if your homies can't have none. That's not always the good way to live because it might be no fun if your homies can't have none, but you don't know what your homies got. And if your homies and you banging the same broad, y'all both might come home with HIV. Moving on. So I can hurry up and end this and start my next video. When it comes down to racism, it really all boils down to the heart of the matter. Everybody's heart can be broken. Everybody's heart has feelings. And your feelings should be important to you. And if they're important to you, then you should relay your feelings out to people the way you would want them to talk to you. So I don't like being called chief. So if I meet a Native American, a full blood, on the streets, and I know his name, let's say his name is John Grey Wolf. Okay, Mr. Grey Wolf, or John, depending on how well I know this guy. But I'm not going to walk up to him and go, "What's up, chief?" He might be offended. Like I was in high school when the fella that was of non-color kept calling me chief for the 3.5+ years that I worked at Kegler's, the local bowling alley around here. You know, I'm watching a chick get attacked on crime TV. You know, I don't I didn't like it. So I wouldn't want nobody to do that to me. You know what I mean? I really wouldn't want anybody to sit there and call me about a racial insult. And it's the same thing where when I meet black people, I don't walk up and say, "What's up, my nigger?" I've had it done to me, and I'll tell them, like, "Dude, my name is James." If I'm just meeting them for the first time, I can really let that one or two my nigga slap. But once they get to know me, it's like, yo, this dude is serious about not being called nigga. Because I've had really bad experiences as a child with that word, and I don't cherish it like the new generation of people. I try not to let it like burn my ass up, but I don't cherish it. I don't see nothing grateful or graceful coming out of being called a word that has spawned so much hate amongst people. Today, my last thing, I watched a young Mexican couple come up to the bus stop today. And they were walking their kid, and the daddy was using the word nigger with his girlfriend and the baby. And he's walking. He's like, "Niggas, why y'all ain't doing this? Or niggas, why ain't doing that?" And I don't think he realized that I was of color and black, because he might have thought I was one of them. And I'm pretty sure he wouldn't want me going around with my little kid going, "Hey," I don't have kids, but pretty sure he wouldn't want me to go, "Yeah, spics like this and spick like that." Nah, you don't do shit like that. You're not improving the next generation. You're devolving them. You want your kids to evolve, not devolve. You want them to be smarter, not stupider. So the first thing we have to do when you see these things in society is first you take notice. I'm not saying go over there and like, "Yo, hey motherfucker, I don't appreciate you teaching your kid how to use the word nigga." No. People don't understand what the Jim Crow laws. People don't understand about that because they're not teaching you everything in school that you need to learn, and they're not teaching you how my grandfather had to be called the nigger. And my other grandfather, my mother's father, had to be called a fucking half-breed. And there wasn't a damn thing they could do about it. And my grandfather, my mother's father, he was more like mulatto, so he looked more white than black. Which, like my mom, looks more white than black. And all her brothers in them were all tan. So we pick on my mom and claim she switched at birth. We don't know. We don't care. What's done is done. We're in the family that we're in. Anyway, the whole thing is my mom's baby sister looks like her. She's just my color, Gladys. So in the long run, we have a lot of things that we must face, and a lot of things we must learn not to deal with, or we must learn to deal with, and we have to try to get that next generation of children to understand it. Words hurt. Words hurt more than a fist. One thing about a fist, you can recover, and you will heal. Unless you die. But most of the time, if you're in a fight with these things here, or those feet, you'll recover. Unless this guy's an expert, and he kills you using the Oranami touch, or the way of the fang, or the Kiba Nagoku, or whatever the hell you want to call it, the touch of death, the 7 steps to the sun. Unless that some bitch uses that on you, you're pretty much gonna recover. But when people call you things that don't just affect you up here, they affect you right here in that heart, man. You know, Asians have probably more insults than anybody because people have always tended to be more racially diverse to Asians or whatever, you know. And no one really thinks about that crap, you know, because I'm sure somebody's looking at me right now saying, well, your eyes is kind of slanted, fella. How do we know you're not one of those Asian people? Well, if you watch my other videos, you'll know that Native Americans are actually Asian, and I lost that bet to a Korean. But, you know, I don't go around calling Vietnam people or Korean people or Chinese people or Japanese people the following bad, really horrible words: gook, jap, chink, kook, wetback. I don't go around calling people that shit. My hero, Bruce Lee, didn't see racism. In fact, he taught everyone of every color, every ethnic background, no prejudice. And we should all view the world that way. His wife was not Chinese. He had 2 beautiful babies by her, and they raised them right. And his ideals of humanity are probably the greatest ideals ever. Of course, you know, he had to answer to that from his own people. And in closing, let's talk about reverse racism, or in my case, black on black crimes. You hear about these things, you hear about these things all the time. And most of us tend to ignore them because most of us strongly believe, oh, well, that's not me. That can't happen to me. I'm never going to be like that. Excuse me. All right. So, as a person of color and a person who can't get this video to work or make me look somewhat decent, can't get the shadows out of my face. Anyway, there's just a webcam for you. As a person who has been in or a part of, black on black crimes, stuff like that, I don't support any crime. It doesn't matter what person your victim is or whatever. And, I've been a victim of reverse racism. I've been a victim of all different racism. Not that it really matters. But, we can think about it. I had to talk with a guy outside. My neighbor across the street, we talk all the time. No one hates women more than the woman sitting next to that woman who's supposed to be her friend until a dick gets involved. Or, if they're both lesbians, a vagina gets involved. No one hates black people more than black people, except maybe the African people of black people, because I touched that on another video. I'm not trying to offend anybody, I'm just dropping the truth as best I can. And with the exception of maybe modern day neo-Nazis and Ku Klux Klan. Other than that, nobody hates black people more than black people, because most black people don't want other black people to succeed. And there's always been a self-hatred war amongst black people. There's always been lights, like this light, and then there's this color, and then there's darker. And that 3-factor or 4-factor color of black people have always, always, always hated each other. Lights hate the blacks, blacks hate the lights, the red bones or whatever you want to call them. And it's been like that for eons, because most of the people who have lighter skin probably have genetically more white people in them or Native American in them, and the people who are naturally darker probably don't. And the thing is that, we're all human, but there's a thing about black people, and this is the downfall of why a lot of black people just can't get along. Most black people have so much self-hatred towards our race that we refuse to let another black person have one more scrap of bread than us. And it's human nature to want more. It's not human nature to want your brethren to have more than you. And selfishness comes in all ethnic backgrounds. It wasn't too long back where China and Japan was going to war. Both sides of Vietnam, both sides of Korea. History tends to have that thing. I don't know anything about Mongolia. I do know that most Native American tribes probably came out of that region because it's right next to Siberia or whatever. But we're not going into a history lesson. We're talking about reverse racism and racism in general. And I'm closing this out with this. If we all sit back and see what drives us to try to be better than everyone else, we probably would all have that like written down on a piece of paper. What is the 5 main goals that you have in life that are not racist? Family, future, money, love, and peace. Those are some of the things that everybody of every color, every ethnic background seek. Maybe not so much on the family and love thing, but money, peace, and freedom. Those are some of the things that I know everybody wants. But everybody has a consequence of something bit me. Everything has to be mine. I want it to be mine. It's going to be mine. Greed tends to kick in. Those 7 deadly sins just don't seem to work out for everyone. So once again, that was my racism rant, my final racism rant. And I thank you very much.